I have never seen an India-Pakistan game this close. It has iconic written all over it. So many ebbs and flows, so many times you thought either teams were out of this. But then, I say now, stop the press. Bring out those phones. Bring out those laptops, even typewriters, I say. And type, as I say. For whoever had a doubt, Virat Kohli is back. This man is beyond forgery. He's beyond imitation. Sometimes even beyond valuation. What a knock, what a perfect chase, what a victory for Team India, and what a start to the T20 World Cup. Oh my God, am I out of breath. Hello and welcome, you're watching Cricbuzz Live. My name is Tanay Tiwari, with me Mr. Zaheer Khan, Parthiv Patel. Gentlemen, oh God, my heart rate. I really have to slow down for a bit. I can't take this anymore. Incredible game, PP.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the proper India-Pakistan game, which we talk about, worthy of India-Pakistan game, worthy of all the hype we've spoken about, and 30 for 4 from that. There was only one player who could have got India through, and that was Virat Kohli. That is the reason why we call him Chase Master, and it was again a masterclass of Virat Kohli. The way he paced his inning, the way he was running between the wicket, the way he was placing the ball, the way he was targeting bowlers till 10 over, we knew that they needed to keep wickets in hand. That's exactly what Hardik and Virat Kohli did. Yes, we will talk about a lot about Virat Kohli, but the way Hardik also gave him that support, it was important. But it was Virat Kohli all over the MCG today.
Yeah, the biggest of stages, and we spoke about this in the pre-match show, Zach. Pre-match show, we said he loves the big stage, he loves chases, but this was something special, right out of the top drawer.
And Australia.
And Australia, yes.
I think, look, single-handedly winning the game. It's very, very satisfying for any player. And from the situation that that the Indian team was, you look at the start which Pakistan bowler needed to defend this total was ideal. Losing 3-4 wickets. After that, that crucial partnership with Hardik, pretty much he carried the innings through.
Yeah.
And what was more special about it was that he was not out. He made sure that he finished the game, and that is something which is very important. We did speak about mid innings, that certain cues you can take from the first innings. If you look at both the innings, there are only two standout performances in terms of batting from each side, and Kohli actually bettered that. He actually made sure that that he bats till the end and takes the team home. So that's why I think this knock will be more satisfying for him. You could see the emotions also on his face, that he's been wanting to do this for a while. He's been wanting to be out there when the Indian team needs him, and he did exactly that. So very satisfying, and it's very obvious that that emotions have to flow when you go through the phase that he's gone through, and then to achieve something what he's achieved today for the Indian team.
Yeah, this was the norm for Virat Kohli for so long. I mean, he was acing these chases for fun, and then there came a period, PP, where he wasn't, where the runs weren't coming, where the chases weren't being aced, where the questions were being asked, which is why what Zach said is so true. The emotions are perhaps a byproduct of all of that toil, all of those years and years now of the question marks around Virat Kohli, his place in the format. There were all sorts of questions, strike rate and everything. But, well, the biggest of stages, and he says, hell, there's still a lot of gas in the tank.
Absolutely, there is a lot of gas in him. There is no doubt about. There is no doubt. Obviously, there were a lot of people criticizing Virat Kohli, but no one criticized Virat Kohli's ability. It was just about the form which he was in. And there is one thing which is very clear with Virat Kohli over these years is, even no matter what phase he's going through, whether he's getting runs or he's not getting runs, he makes sure that he prepares really well. That he doesn't hold back in his training sessions, and that's exactly what he must have done for 2 years where he did not get those runs in T20 format. But you basically wait for these kind of moments. When you are playing in front of 1 lakh people, India-Pakistan game, staying not out, you visualize this kind of thing as a player, and that must be really satisfying for Virat Kohli. And look at those numbers, if you can see, against Pakistan in T20 format. But strike rate is another thing. But look at all this, that star next to his name is always been not out. So that's been Virat Kohli's hallmark in his career.
Actually, yeah. I mean, 4 not outs out of 5, all of those almost half centuries apart from one. And that's the hallmark of the man. Just the fact that If you're set, you complete the job and do not return before that.
Exactly. I think that's the example you can set for everyone. Everyone in that team, the youngsters who are watching. I think this is the best example you can set, that it's not about just contribution. It's about making sure that you complete the job. And today's situation was the ideal situation. When you've lost so many wickets, it was about one guy finishing and staying till the end, through and through. So that was something which was important for the team, because from Pakistan's point of view, it was just about taking that one wicket. That one wicket, if it had come earlier, then situation would have been completely different.
Correct.
He would have been able to squeeze in that left-arm spinner's over much earlier. That wasn't the case, and thanks to this partnership of Virat and Hardik, which actually didn't allow Babar Azam to approach this defense in that tactical manner. He had to take that chance of leaving the left-arm spinners over till the end. But the partnership, when you talk about 100+ partnership in T20 format, usually those kind of partnerships are match-winning partnerships. It's still very, very surprising that the last over, the match still went till the last over.
It did,
It just shows that what kind of grip Pakistan had on the game, leading this defense. But credit has to go to Virat Kohli, the way he batted, the way he carried the innings through, and made sure that the victory is ours.
Yeah.
I think that's rightly put it. Here, to Zach's point, there was Virat Kohli who got 82 and Hardik Pandya got 40, and Surya Kumar got 15. Well, everyone else was in single figure, but someone had to stay in. Someone had to make sure that take the attack. I thought that 11th and 12th over were very, very important. After that drinks break, India needed to make sure that they don't allow bowlers like Mohammad Nawaz to bowl those 2 overs for 7. Mohammad Nawaz had bowled 7 runs or 9 runs in 2 overs, and India did not allow him to bowl that 20-run over which the 3 sixes went. So it was the right approach to do it, and I thought, to be honest, 30 for 4, when a lot of people all of us were thinking it's going to be very, very tough. Someone would have had to play an outstanding knock, and that probably Virat Kohli is maybe career best innings so far in the way he has batted today.
Now, when the emotions have died down, let's have a look at what happened in the game. Rohit Sharma won the toss, asked Pakistan to bat first. Through ebbs and flows, Rizwan and Babar were out very soon. Still, Pakistan managed on the board 159 for 8 at the end of their 20 overs. Shan Masood was very good. Shaheen Afridi with that very valuable contribution towards the end. 8 balls, 16 runs, 3 wickets for Hardik Pandya, 3 wickets for Arshdeep Singh. India came out to bat and were in all sorts of trouble at 30 odd for 4, as PP mentioned. And you really didn't give India a chance because you knew you'd seen this script before for a while now. When the top order fails to get going, it gets very difficult. The asking rate climbs up. But then it was all about that one man. But you can't not mention Hardik Pandya's role as well. As you said, Zach, it was very important at that point of time to stitch a partnership together. Someone for Virat Kohli to rely upon as well. And that is something that Hardik Pandya did really well.
Yes, the partnership was very, very important. And if you look at how the partnership has actually gone about in the whole innings, you would find that when initially Virat was not getting that opportunity, when the spinners were squeezing in, Hardik actually put spinners under pressure. So the charge was taken by Hardik in that situation.
Exactly.
And when you're looking at the back 5 overs, the back end 5 overs, 60 required, that time Hardik was not able to put things away. And that's when Virat stepped up. So the partnership was complementing each other, and that's why the partnerships are important. So when 2 batters are batting together, and if they're complementing each other in such a way, the pressure from the other guy is released. It's a different story that Hardik got out in the last over, but I think till then, last over, spinner to bowl, 16 required. I think pretty much the job was done. I think from there, it was you would have been disappointed that you got the game so close and you've not finished it. So looking at all those things, the pressure was always going to be high on the left arm spinner bowling the last over when 16 are required. If Pakistan's best chance was maybe 24 of last over, when you know that you have to hit at least 3 or 4 big hits to win the game, then he would have been a bit more relaxed. The tail would have been up, or he would have been thinking differently. You could see that the moment 16 runs required of the last over, yes, the first ball wicket just got the energy up, but other than that, you always knew that it was going to be not an easy task to defend 16 for a spinner.
I think more than Virat, Hardik was waiting for that final over from Nawaz, perhaps.
I think it was calculating. I think India was definitely calculating. I thought India would have been comfortable till 20. I thought the way they were approaching inning, it looked like that India is eyeing anything between 15 to 20. They would have backed themselves to get even 20. But yeah, I mean that's what you do, and that is the danger of playing 5 bowlers. When you do not have a cushion with as a captain, then you have to bowl him. There was only one off spinner in Iftikhar. They had no other bowler, and that was India's problem till last World Cup. India was playing with five bowlers. So that for Pakistan point of view, I think that there will always be a danger of playing with 5 bowlers, and that India knew they do not have that 6th option. They will have to go with left arm spinner. So that's where the maturity of Hardik and Virat was key for today's success.
It was, yes, and perhaps Pakistan did miss that another option, but the kind of mood Hardik and Virat were in, you really never know. But I'll just read out Virat Kohli's interview post the game. He's, of course, the player of the match. He says, it's a surreal atmosphere. He says, I have no words, no idea how that happened. You know Virat, of course. He says, I'm really lost for words. Hardik believed we can do it if we stayed till the end. When Shaheen bowled from the pavilion end, that's when we decided to take him down, that one over. And he said, Haris is their prime bowler, and I hit those 2 sixes. From 28 in 8, it came down to 16 to 6, something that we were talking about. He said, I tried to stick to my instincts. The first one was back of a hand slower ball, the one that he hit over long on, that is. And then he says, standing here, I just feel like it was meant to be. Till today, Mohali was my best innings against Australia. All of us remember that. He says, today I will count this one higher. He says, Hardik kept pushing me. The crowd has been phenomenal, and the fans have been backing him, and he's very grateful for that. So again, a lot of emotions there. But if you talk of Pakistan, where do they think they went wrong, Zach? I mean, when they sit down and review this, there's of course that 6th bowling option, but could they have done anything different with the options that they had? Because the options that they had were very good, and the game that they had was very much in control for a very long time. Even if you see that innings progression, they had the game in their grasp with India at 38 for 4.
Yeah, pretty much. I think 65-70% of the time they controlled the game.
Yeah.
They set up the total 160 with the bowling lineup which they have. They would have fancied the chance, getting those early breakthroughs, getting India to 30 for 4, pretty much controlling the game, squeezing in the middle overs with Hardik and Virat batting. Initial part of that partnership wasn't easy. So all those things they did very well. I think the point which Parthiv was making of 6 bowlers, that's something which they have to ponder upon. There is no doubt about that, because on days like these, when you have a good command on the game, if someone is having a off day, or tactically if you want to use that 6th option, you can use that. So that's something which they're lacking in. It kind of gets predictable to kind of maneuver your two spinners, the opposition knowing that, okay, these overs I can target. And that's something which you saw from Hardik as well. They knew that it's Nawaz's 3rd over, and they have to up the ante for them to stay with the chase, and it worked out in their favor. And that eventually put pressure on Babar not to use that 4th over of Nawaz. So as a captain, you kind of feel stuck, even though you have the game in command. At times you're still not doing the right thing, because you know that it's not advisable for anyone to use the spinner at the back end. And if he had to use the spinner, it would have been just Shadab and him bowling 8 overs together. So that also tactically doesn't work in this format, because once the batters take the measure of you, what you're trying to do, it's an easier task to then take an over to hit some out of the park. So those kind of things you get stuck with, and those are the things which actually made Pakistan little hamstrung today. And something which going in the tournament they'll have to figure out. With batting, I think you have to give full credit to them. They found a way of getting out of a bad situation. With bowling, they had the game under control. It's just that they couldn't do much against someone who was really batting well, and that partnership of Virat and Hardik really took them away from the game.
I think it is just very difficult to bowl 8 overs in tandem for two spinners. And I mean, none of the teams will allow them to bowl 8 overs. I think they will go after them, or maybe just they need to find at least 1 or 2 overs in power play. If they could get Shadab or Nawaz to bowl in power play, maybe first over itself. If it's not swinging, if they are going with 5 bowler strategy, or maybe it looks like they want their batting cushion in Mohammad Nawaz because he can bat. Maybe an option of fourth seamer if you want to go with only 5 bowlers. That could be something which they can think of as well.
That's a great point, actually. What it does, if you use your spinner in the first 6, you know that at some stage he's going to be under pressure. But when India had already lost wicket, and then you bring in spinner in the power play, the new batter has to take extra risk, and that is something puts you in this thing. If he takes the risk and gets away with that, it's fine, because at some stage that over would have gone for runs. But if not, then you actually manage to squeeze in 1 over, which gives you that flexibility of changing the pattern, which we are talking about. If you're getting 2 bowlers bowling 8 overs, very seldom you'll see that they will see it through in a good way, especially when the conditions are not really supporting your style of bowling. So spin conditions, if there is enough help from the wicket for spin bowlers, and you're using those kind of just a couple of bowlers for 8 overs, still works. But when there's no help from the pitch, you will always get stuck. So maybe on the hindsight, Pakistan could have used that 1 over of spin in the power play, and
but that's all.
Things would have been different a little bit.
That's all hindsight. But the one thing that I've just read on the Cricbuzz app is that Rohit actually lifted Kohli in celebration towards the end. And it was just that kind of a game. But also what happened there in the last over, I mean, Nawaz did bowl the last over. It had everything, PP. It had a wicket of the first ball. Then I think a single, then a double, then a no ball 6, then of the free hit, the ball hit the stumps and they ran 3 byes. How did that happen?
I mean,
I was also confused.
No, that's the rule. You even if you get bowled, you are not out because it's a free hit, and if the keeper can't stop it, then it's a bye.
So the ball wasn't dead after it hit the stumps,
it doesn't.
You weren't out. Okay, all right.
Ball's still in the play.
Now I got it.
You get to hear from wicket keepers because we remember our byes. Pretty much how we give our byes.
That is true. It was something else. That last over was really something else. Everything was happening, and as Virat said, it was perhaps destined to be. But things to ponder over for India as well from this game, PP. I mean, there will be things that they will go back and say, all right, it was a good win. Virat chased it down really well. Hardik did really well. But we still have to look at how the openers batted. We still have to look at whether we could have adapted another approach against such a good attack.
I would see, obviously, that's going to be a point of discussion going forward in this tournament, because till this tournament started, India wanted to play that attacking brand of cricket, which they did not play today to start with. So whether they want to play situation or they want to play that attacking brand of cricket, that's something which they will have to think about. And conditions actually dictate a lot of things. If bowlers are bowling well, then you have to give that respect to bowlers, because now here also we've seen wickets in hand. India was only 60 in 10 overs, but 4 wickets down. But we had wickets in hand. That is the reason why we could get 60 of last 5. So that's the kind of approach, what kind of approach India wants to go with, whether you want to see off that new ball. I think India can afford to see off that new ball for at least a couple of overs. You don't have to go really over attacking. And once that happens, then it becomes slightly easier, and then we can play the kind of cricket they want to play. So I think more than that kind of approach works on the conditions like India, where ball doesn't swing as much, ball doesn't seam as much. But going forward, if you're playing in Perth against South Africa, you're not going to get those free balls or balls to hit from ball number 1. So once you get in, we saw it from Virat Kohli, we saw it from Pakistani batters as well. Ball was swinging left, right and center, but still they gave themselves a bit of time, and then Shan Masood scored runs, Iftikhar also scored runs. So I think that could be the template that India can look into.
All right. And with the ball, Zach, I mean, they bowled really well in parts, but then in parts you let partnerships flourish. There were also misfields that they'd look at perhaps?
See, partnerships are going to happen. It's a game of cricket. You're playing. The opposition has come there to win game of cricket as well.
Correct.
So that's the competition you're talking about. You just got to narrow your error percentage, I would say. like you have to play percentage cricket. You have to figure out your options accordingly, and you have to take conditions with you. So you need those conditions support to be able to execute your plans, and you got to be proactive in doing that. Today's conditions, if you see, you don't have to really go on bowling too many Yorkers even at the back end. So that's something which you can think of doing if there is enough help in the wicket. Other than that, I think that middle phase partnership which you're talking about, teams do analyze that, right? So you got to be able to understand that what is the mindset a batsman has, and then adapt accordingly. At times you got to be very defensive. So that's something which you have to figure out. The back end bowling is still a little concern, and because of that, the options which you are choosing. When you have two quick wickets, you should be dictating the game through and through. And why it didn't happen is the question which all the bowlers need to ask themselves. The conversations and the discussions need to be happening around that what can we do to change that. Is it does it mean that some bowler needs to come and give you that advice that okay, this is the plan, these are the options on this particular track, because the conditions are going to change every day you play. The opposition is going to change. You got to be with that. So being proactive is something which is going to be very, very important going forward in the tournament for the Indian team.
I thought with batting they were quite proactive to send Akshar Patel in power play. That it shows that India is showing faith in Akshar Patel's batting ability. The way Surya also, the way he batted, though he got only 15, then the ball was moving around, but he came in really, really positive. Also, I think India has been when you win games, then it becomes slightly easier. Though Akshar's ploy didn't work, but I thought it was a very smart and proactive move by India.
Well begun, they say, is half done. Now, if it's half done or not, I don't know, but it's very, very well begun for Team India in this T20 World Cup campaign. Let's have a look at the points table, because India will have registered their first points by now on that. Pakistan, of course, won't have. This is the first game in Super 12 Group 2. India with their 2 points. Net run rate, of course, when you win it in the last over, with those bare margins, the net run rate, perhaps some other day, but this is a very, very good start to the tournament for India, and they will take a lot of positives. Perhaps, as Zach and PP both mentioned, there will be things to ponder over, but a win is a win at the end of the day. And when you start a tournament like the T20 World Cup with a win like this can really go a long way in giving you that kind of momentum.
Yeah, basically close wins. You want to be on the right side of the result. Sometimes we sit back after a tournament and we think that one ball, if it had gone here or there, we could have won that game. So especially when you're winning those close games, it is important. After all, what matters is the 2 points which you get, and that only that can give you confidence. You might get a lot of confidence out of the game, but you have not achieved those 2 points, then it's of no use. So I think India would be thinking that we are on the right side of the result. Especially on a T20 format, you need a bit of luck on your side. Though today it wasn't a luck; it was just the sheer class of Virat Kohli and the maturity of Hardik. But yeah, I think India would be really happy to have those 2 points under their belt.
A win is a win is a win, no matter how it comes. And today, when it comes in that kind of a fashion, it really lifts the entire team up. You could see it in the scenes there. You could see it in the scenes here as well. Yeah, but I was excited and I'm not going to apologize for it. So then, that wraps up another day in Super 12. Day 2 is done. What do we have in store on day 3? Diwali day. What games do we have? The first game is Bangladesh taking on Netherlands. 17th match of the Super 12 Group 2. Hobart, they played this in Hobart. Sri Lanka played Ireland, Hobart as well. Now, Bangladesh, of course, have had issues coming into this tournament. I mean, Netherlands have, of course, come in from round 1. But Bangladesh's issues with just not being something that we were talking about, the wins just haven't come for Bangladesh in the past few months now.
Yeah. I mean, they've lost, what, 19 games out of 21 they've played in last few games. So obviously, they have a lot to think about. They do not have a settled opening pair as yet. They've changed their captain. Shakib ul Hasan was not captaining the side. He started captaining in Asia Cup. So obviously they needed result in their favor, and at this point of time, even in practice games or warm-up games they played, they changed openers frequently. So they have not found their the combination which they are looking for. So obviously Bangladesh has a lot of worries, but the only thing is, they're playing Netherlands, so they could maybe gain some confidence by beating them. But yeah, I mean, look at Bangladesh; they keep on changing. The big name, Mahmudullah is not there. Mahmudullah was their captain 6 months back, and now he's not part of the side. So there is a lot of turmoil going in Bangladesh cricket at this point of time.
It is, and Zach, I mean, the way they've played their T20 cricket as well of late has just has seemed old-fashioned. I mean, especially with the bat, the bowling can take care of itself, but with the bat, the runs haven't come. We saw it in the Asia Cup as well. It's like they're stuck in a time machine way back in time.
Yeah, they have certain things to figure out, but you want Bangladesh to do well.
Yeah.
And sometimes in a tournament like this, things do fall into place because Bangladesh, the fan following for the team, the passion they show towards the game is very high. So they have to give it back to the people of Bangladesh.
True.
And sometimes occasions like this gets a team going as well.
Yeah.
So we hope that Bangladesh shows those kind of signs. And I think that's the reason Shakib has been handed over the captaincy.
Correct.
So there must have been some things happening in the team which they want to control or they want to change. That's why the senior most campaigner is one of the best all-rounders which cricket has seen in this format, especially in the white ball cricket. So that's something which we are hoping for.
Yeah.
So we are hopeful that Bangladesh will turn things around in this World Cup, and it starts with tomorrow.
It does, and you'd feel as well that Shakib has the key to any sort of success for Bangladesh because he has a foot in both camps. He's a bowler, he's a batter, he's also a leader and one of the finest in all.
I think more than the batting bowling skills, I think when you are reviving a team, when you are trying to reinforce your players, I think you need one of your senior player to step up and take responsibility. And it is really good to see that Shakib Al Hasan has asked for captaincy before Asia Cup. He's gone and asked for captaincy, so he wants to revive Bangladesh cricket. And I mean, there is no better person than him at this point of time because he's been around for years. He's been successful performer of the team. Plus, he has experience of playing all over the world. So I think that's something. And he's singing right tunes as well. Before coming in, he said we want to follow the process.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen overnight. Revival doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
So I think that's something which we'll see from his captaincy throughout the tournament is probably a settled 11. Yes, we've not seen those settled opening pair as yet. But to me, I think looking forward to it, they give that stability to their player. Not use more than 12, 13. Yes, you have to make some tactical changes, but I think it'll be interesting to see that how many players they are using in this tournament.
Correct, and they have good names there. Shomo Sarkar, Afif Hussain, Liton Das, of course, and with the bowl, they have Mustafizur Rahman, Taskin Ahmed. So the bowling really has a lot of credible names. Even in the batting, it's just about the processes getting right, implementation of all the plans. And that is something that Shakib will, of course, have an eye on. They're playing Netherlands, who qualify from round 1 and come into this group 2. Let's have a look at their squad as well. Some really interesting names there. Bas de Leede really starred in that round 1. Max O'Dowd, Scott Edwards. And again, for Netherlands, like for a lot of these associate teams coming in, Zach, it's a lot about creating an impact. Now that you've graduated from one level to another, you're really playing with the big boys, you want to make an impact here.
Exactly. You would want to get that win here. That's something which associate nations, when they qualify for the next round, you want to see that how you're carrying yourself on the field, and you want the other teams to remember you that and not take you lightly.
Correct.
So that's something which they would want. Bas de Leede is someone who's been around. Playing some leagues also, franchise cricket also, so that is something which we have to see how he goes about. But on the whole, I think it's about getting that win. Yeah. And when you have a position which is kind of on a shaky ground, have not been consistent, that's your best chance. Correct. So I think Netherlands will be looking at this game with that kind of approach. They'll think that okay, Bangladesh have been not consistent for a while, we have a chance of beating them. Yeah. And that's something which I'm sure the discussions will be around in that camp.
It's time to open my PPPedia book.
Okay.
Just a few facts.
Not showing off.
No, not showing off. That Bas de Leede's,
I'm all ears.
Bas de Leede's father, Team de Leede, actually led Netherlands against Bangladesh in 1997.
Are you planning on doing Joy Factors?
Joy
yourself?
Factor. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Joyda has got competition.
Oh, very
that was
stiff
supposed to be the most cherished game or most famous game between Netherlands and Bangladesh during that I think which Champions Trophy or some 97 Champions Trophy. I think that's when he led the side.
And Bas de Leede has been starring for Netherlands this time around as well, with the bat, with the ball. He's been all over, and the way he's performed in round one, they would hope that he continues those performances in Super 12 as well, where it matters against the big boys. So that's game one then, Bangladesh versus Netherlands. What is game two? Game two is South Africa. Yes, they're back. South Africa take on, who do they take on? Who does South Africa take on? Let's have a look. It's Zimbabwe. South Africa versus Zimbabwe in Hobart. This again is at the same ground. And also South Africa coming off a good win, coming off a good bunch of games as well, PP. I mean, if you look at that squad, we've been talking about this, and there's been a lot of talk around South Africa saying that they may be the dark horses in this tournament because they've got so many bases covered in that squad.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I think South Africa looks a solid team. You talk about Quinton de Kock, you talk about David Miller, the way he's batted, the way Railu Rosso has come in and batted for South Africa. They've got all-rounders in Wayne Parnell and Marco Jansen, who's making a comeback into the side. And look at that fast bowling attack. You've got Kagiso Rabada and Henrik Nokia. And I think Keshav Maharaj is someone, people take him very, very lightly, but he's been a performer for their side with not only bowling, but with batting also. So I think, South Africa is a solid side. People not talking about them, but I think they're a serious contender for this World Cup.
Yeah, and especially on a track like Hobart, Zach, something that you mentioned in that Sri Lanka Island game, you said the track is really true in Hobart, and we saw that as well. It may not reflect in the scorecard in terms of the number of runs, but for that batting lineup with that pedigree, if you read those names, they can really make merry on this track.
There's no doubt about it. And when you're looking at South Africa's squad, it's looking very strong. There's no doubt about it. You have Quinton de Kock as well, who's been very consistent. Markram is another name. David Miller is in superb form.
Yeah.
So I think they have enough firepower. They have most of the bases covered. Marco Jansen have been added to the squad, and he's also not a bad addition, I would say.
Yeah. Oh, what are you saying?
If you're playing in Perth, he will extract that extra bounce. You've seen the conditions in Perth for the fast bowlers with that extra bounce. When you are 6'8", 6'9", you will extract a feet or two more than the other bowlers. So he can also cause troubles. Bowling is also looking very, very balanced. You have Rabada, you have Nauthier, and you have Ngidi as well. So along with Shamsi, who's going to provide that wrist spin Chinaman. So they have enough variation in their bowling lineup. They have enough firepower for this format, which is required at the back end in Miller, Russo, and Klaassen.
Yeah.
There's
Stubbs also.
Yeah, Stubbs as well. It'll be interesting to see what kind of combination they play.
Yeah.
Yes, you have all these names, but now you have to put all these players together and form a 11. So we'll have to wait and see tomorrow that what kind of combination they are going in with. Yeah. Whether Marco is playing tomorrow's game or not, that's something which we have to see because he's been the last addition. So you might want to continue with Rabada, Nokia, and Ngidi. Yeah. So that's something which we'll have to wait and see. The playing 11 is something which I'm curious about. Other than that, the squad is looking solid.
It is. Let's have a look at Zimbabwe's squad next. They've, of course, qualified from round 1 into Super 12. And a lot of heavy lifting in that team is done by one man, all-rounder number 1, Sikandar Raza. With the bat, you need Sikandar Raza, he's there. With the ball, you need Sikandar Raza, he's there. In the field, you need Sikandar Raza, he's there. He's doing everything, PP, and they rely so heavily on him. But add to that the abilities of their pacers as well. Ngarava and Blessing Muzarbani, we've seen enough of them now against India as well. They bowled really well. But is that over-reliance on Sikandar Raza now being found out?
Yeah, it is. I mean, obviously Sikandar Raza has been phenomenal for Zimbabwe in last 6 months. Even against India, the kind of inning he played, he almost snatched victory out of India's hand. So yeah, I mean, there is a lot of reliance on Sikandar Raza, but they would want their other batters to step up and get some runs. Maybe the captain Chris Irvine, is a very talented batter. It's just about getting there and maybe getting some runs. And see, they have a decent side. It's not. Maybe they're not known now players in the side because they are not playing too many games against the main sides. But yeah, Sikandar Raza is someone, they would be still looking at.
Or maybe Sikandar Raza may just get a lot of inspiration from what Virat Kohli did. He says, well, big players are ruling in this tournament. This is my opportunity. Virat Kohli did it there. I'll try and do that for my team.
Well, that's what this format brings, isn't it? You just need two batters playing those majority of the innings and getting to a total. You can actually then make the match out of it. So that's something which Zimbabwe will have to think about, and that's why this format is a very interesting one.
Yeah.
In 20 overs, 2 or 3 batters can get you to a total which is a match-winning total, and then your bowlers can do the job. So that's something which will be the approach. You still have to see how they go about with the ball. Muzir Rabbani is someone who's got that nice loopy slower one as well.
Yeah.
So they'll be relying. He'll be leading the bowling attack for Zimbabwe tomorrow.
Yeah. So then, interesting set of games in that day, but that's all on this day, which has been, well, exhausting. It's been draining, and while it may have sunk in for you, we'll all sit down after this show and perhaps it'll sink in then. But something that should have sunk in very early in the morning for you was the joy factor question.
It is a Zimbabwean. He is a Zimbabwean.
See, showing off again. Zach, I told you. We didn't even attempt to crack the question.
Huh?
You had a chat with Jaya?
No, I didn't.
No, he does that. Let's have a look at the joy factor question now that it's there. Let's read it out first. Which cricketer was born in a country playing today, studied engineering in a country that played in round 1, and is currently playing for a third country altogether? And the answer is Sikandar Raza, born in Pakistan, studied in Scotland, playing for Zimbabwe, answered by Pipipedia. Showing off again.
No, I didn't. Research.
Research it is. Zach and I didn't even attempt it. But let's see who else attempted it and who else beat Pipipedia.
Tell me it's not Tanmoy.
Oh, there you go. Now
that was
he's showing off even in terms of the winners.
That was sheer guess.
Oh God. Tanmay, many congratulations on cracking it alongside Pipipedia, who guessed your name also. He's a big show off. I think we must go. But what a day this was, right? Incredible. These are the games that you perhaps watch and then tell stories of later. Oh, I watched that live. I was there. Just such iconic moments in that game. But that wraps up the day for us in Super 12. Thank you so much, Zaheer. Thank you so much, Parthiv, for joining in. Thank you so much to all of you as well. We'll, of course, keep coming every game day in this T20 World Cup. That's all on this day on Cricbuzz Live. My name is Tanay Tiwari. See you super soon.